What's up? Good to be back.
Man, good to have you, man. I mean, look, during the pandemic, you kept me entertained, man, with all your skits on social media. I just wanted to ask you, before you even get into this Chisora fight, what compelled you to start creating skits using your whole family and like really going in? I'm talking about you really shot some stuff. What made you want?
That's what it was.
Listen, well, firstly, there's not many things to do when you're in a lockdown. Secondly, just wanted to spread positivity. It's not like, for me, I found it wasn't as hard as a lot of people out there finding it. And a lot of people finding it hard not to be able to leave home. You know, mentally it's just hard for them. So just want to spread some love and make people laugh.
Absolutely. Talk about spreading love. Didn't you and Chisora like go for breakfast in a movie or something like that before your last fight?
Now you added something, Rock.
That was a different experience, you know, just because we were locked into the hotel, couldn't leave the hotel. So I was seeing my opponent every day, and you know, he organized breakfast and organized to catch up. But it was just one of those things where it was a little bit, I mean, after the fight's okay, but before the fight's like,
awkward. It's like, yo, can you pass me the orange juice? I'm gonna knock you out tomorrow too. I'm just letting you know.
He was like offering me breakfast and everything. I don't know what to make of it.
You did have a burger after the fight, though. You guys ate a burger together afterwards, right?
After the fight, the burger was quite nice together, but yeah, and I think that's good after the fight. But before the fight, it's just like, you know, it's all good.
So for the rematch, no meetings on fight week. You staying away from him, and why the rematch? Tell us what went through. What was the thought process in accepting this?
I think the rematch makes sense because the fight wasn't a dominant performance. It wasn't the best fight from my side, and even though I got the win, it wasn't conclusive. Like, people thought, you know, he won. Some people thought I won. Some people thought it should have been a split decision. And that's the fight that Matchroom offered us, and it made sense at this time to run it back, have a better performance before you even move on to the bigger fights.
Oh man, that's great, man. Just like Floyd, whenever there's a close fight, he's like, you know what, we can run that back. You gotta silence the doubters. All right, so how did you feel when Chisora was like right before the fight, nah, I'm not walking out first?
Listen, I was like, I think we did a coin toss, and even after that, he didn't want to walk out first. So
right.
It's just one of those things. I don't know if he's playing a game of boxing, or if it's trying to get in my head, or is he trying to interrupt the program, the fight night, whatever it is. But in the end, he did walk out first, and everything went to plan. But it was a bit of a struggle to get everything locked in.
I think it was all psychological games, you know, even the breakfast, you know, butter you up a little bit, soften you up, so you can be a little easy. Exactly.
Hey, Joe, come on, man, my little bro, everything's all good. And then
now look, Chisora, he shared the ring with Usyk, who's fighting AJ. We'll get into that fight in a second, but it seemed like Usyk kind of struggled with him early. It wasn't as smooth as people thought. So, are you looking to make a statement this time around and beat him better than not only how you beat him the first time, but better than Usyk beat him?
Yeah, going into every fight, I mean, this is my first rematch, so there's no surprises there. Chisora can do as much training as he wants. He can get a different coach, different management team. It won't really change his style and what he's going to bring. I mean, he can work on his fitness and get fitter and you know, put on more pressure. But every fight you want to make a statement, and this is the most important fight for me to make a statement. Because I've beaten him, and it wasn't the most dominant or convincing. I need to beat him way better, like way, times 10.
Well, speaking of Usyk, who do you think is going to win this fight this weekend, Usyk or Joshua?
I would pick Joshua. And the reason I pick him is just because he's a natural heavyweight. He's got the height, reach, advantage. I don't know, but Usyk is a tricky customer, and you've seen that one in the fights that he's been involved in.
Yeah, so what do you say? What do you say to those people that say, listen, this guy's an Olympic gold medalist, decorated amateur. Even though he doesn't have the size, he has the footwork and the speed to maybe outbox a Joshua. What do you say to those people?
Listen, they do have a point though. Like he might come in there and he might surprise everyone with his footwork, his speed, and leading into a fight. Every fighter that goes into a fight should have had the best preparation, should be ready to go, give it the best they have, action, everything. So I feel like if he comes out, and he might be able to prove people wrong, but it's a hard task in front of him. Here we have a champion who's been champion for a long time, fought many great fighters, and it's just 2 Olympic medalists, man. It's going to be a great fight.
Yeah, but you see, you're a smaller heavyweight, but you're bigger than Usyk, you know, and you're a boxer. You're somebody who can move. You've shown that in so many of your fights. So if you couldn't do it, what makes Usyk able to do it?
Do you think the southpaw makes a difference? I'm not sure. You know, just the awkwardness in southpaw, and maybe from cruiserweight, he was showing a lot of movement. You know, I don't know. His movement might be different to mine.
You think that Joshua's boxing skills are a little underrated or no?
I think so. I think his boxing skills are very good. And a lot of people just see him because of the knockouts he's had and chasing people and smashing them. But he has shown the side of him that can box and move. Like with the Andy Ruiz fight, with my fight. And there's a few fights out there that he just, you know, he was able to control the fight with his boxing.
Hey, Joe, we talked about this yesterday, Barack and myself. We mentioned the Fury-Wilder trilogy and obviously the Usyk-Joshua. Obviously, Fury and Joshua want to meet up on a collision somewhere in the UK for a huge fight, but they have to get past their next two opponents. Who's more likely to upset the apple cart here?
Who's more likely? You know, even though Fury had a good win, you know, the first fight was a close fight and Wilder got it. Second fight was a dominant performance. I still think Wilder's very dangerous coming into the third fight. I don't know. You never know with the changes they make in camp. The mindset changes, you know, and there's nothing to lose. You know, he's coming in here with nothing to lose. So I feel like that's a bit more of a dangerous fight. I might be wrong, but that's my opinion.
Okay, so if you were to get past Chisora and then get that title shot once again with Anthony Joshua, will we see a different fighter in there that night?
Listen, I have to show it first with the Chisora fight to even be able to show it in another fight. So if I don't make any changes with this next fight and look better and improve, then what's the point of me looking at the other fights?
Ooh.
So are you saying if you don't impress yourself with this win, you might hang up the gloves?
I probably won't hang up the gloves, but if I don't look dominant, then I have to really assess myself and in boxing. And if I have goals of being at the top again, can I actually get there? If I don't look good and if I don't do good.
Right, that makes sense.
That's a whole lot of honesty right there. A lot of guys can't really say that about themselves. I commend you on that.
Yeah.
Can I get a prediction?
You gotta improve. Listen, a lot of people have faith in me. I have faith in myself, but you know, I can see good things in training and inspiring, but when you get to the fight, things change. I need to get back to the fight who just goes in there without any, you know, we're not holding back or not being too cautious, and just let the hands go, because that's how you get good wins.
Yes.
Listen, you're one of the nicest guys in boxing. There's only a handful of guys I can say that about. Is there anybody in this sport that you don't like, Joseph?
Not so much. No, I don't. There's no fighter that I don't like, but I really want to fight Dillian White again.
Okay.
Like, I like him.
Back.
He's a good. You know, we get along. It's sort of like get along. Then we don't get along. Then we do. Then we don't. But I really want to fight him again. Can
you translate that into something a little more meaner?
To be honest, I feel like the first fight wasn't. You know, it could have went either way. But I know that I can smash. I know I can get in there and beat him up.
Right.
You know, just that he hit about me, and that's, you know, he fouled me. Prick fouled me.
Hey, Joseph, I want to get a prediction before you get out of here about some big fights coming up. Canelo Alvarez fighting for the undisputed super middleweight crown against Caleb Plant. How does that fight play out? A lot of people think Caleb Plant has a shot here.
Yeah, Caleb Plant can upset, but as we've seen in many fights that Canelo's been involved in, you know, a lot of people can upset him, but he's always like, he is the top dog at the moment. You know, he is every fight just comes in and smashes people and busts them up. Yeah. And I feel like Canelo is, I think he'll win this fight.
All right, well, there's another fight in your division is Dillian White versus Otto Wallin. That's totally surprised us. What do you think about that fight and who wins?
Hey, Wallin gave Tyson a bit of trouble. I mean, just with he's southpaw as well and a bit awkward, but Dillian White's one of those fighters who's always improving. You know, even though he lost to Povetkin, came back and beat him in good fashion. Straight away, and I feel like he's one of those fighters that, you know, he wants that title so bad that I reckon he'll just come in there and do real well. I picked Dillian White.
All right, well, listen, man, December 18th, it goes down, the rematch, you versus Derek Chisora. I can't wait to get, to watch the rematch. Always a pleasure chopping up with you, Joe. Take it easy. Thanks for the time.
Thanks, boys.
Good luck.
Good to see you guys.